What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. Season 2 of Warzone arrived earlier this week, and with it came promises of quality of life improvements, promises of anti-cheat changes. And what happened? To no one's surprise, these promises were broken. Because Warzone hasn't changed a lick, hasn't changed at all, hasn't improved one iota. And honestly, I wanted to give Call of Duty the benefit of the doubt. I wanted them to finally prove me wrong, follow through with their words. But of course, they can't do that. And like I said, when the community update came out, actions are going to speak louder than words. And their actions this time again, or lack thereof, show us and tell us that their words mean nothing. They are completely empty. And anytime they speak, they are just lying to you. They're giving you lip service to hopefully hop back in the game to boost those player numbers up a little bit, because that's all they care about. And guess what? It worked. People came back for Season 2. They bumped those player numbers up. They went out and bought the Battle Pass and the Black Cell Battle Pass. They bought the new crazy cosmetics, and Activision is the one who benefits from all this. You don't. Your game isn't magically better today than it was yesterday. If anything, it's exactly the same, but with more monetization in it. And none of that monetization equates to a better gameplay experience, which is insanely frustrating to this player base, the player base that is willing to hold them accountable, willing to criticize them. But unfortunately, we're just considered the vocal minority. We're considered haters for having expectations. Sorry that I'd like to play a game that isn't filled with cheaters when you have the ability to stop cheaters. Sorry that I want to play a game that doesn't have consistent packet bursts, considering the fact that I can play other games that don't have it. Well, then just don't play. Well, here's the weird thing. There's no other competitors out there like Call of Duty, like Warzone. So what am I to do? And that's where Call of Duty really cashes in. They have no competition in this space, and as a result, they can just run amok with impunity, with no consequences and no responsibility. They can continuously churn out lazy slop for their moronic player base to continue to suck up. And honestly, I don't blame them. They're going through the path of least resistance. They're legitimately earning billions of dollars every single year by doing next to nothing. And everybody rewards them. Nothing's going to change. They're the highest selling game of 2024. The Black Cell Battle Pass for Season 2 sold like hotcakes. I'm sure there's a ton of other cosmetics they've added into the game that are selling like hotcakes, and no one's going to hold them accountable. Because guess what? Call of Duty's getting the results they want. They don't care the means to get there. If they have to put more effort in, they will. They just care about the results. So they see that the revenues are going up, and they don't really care that the players are dropping. They see their revenues are going up. They don't really care that the game's in a dying state. And I don't mean dying as in the player base is going down. I mean dying as in the gameplay itself is just so lackluster. Even though I believe some of the content in Black Ops 6's Season 2 is good, I just don't feel that it has any life. There's no pride in this content. You can't be proud of releasing this unless, of course, you're part of the Zombies team, and maybe you can be proud of the Tomb because it's just visually stunning. But besides from that, it just doesn't feel like this content that we receive has any life in it. It doesn't feel like the developers had fun making it. You can tell when you're playing it. It just feels generic. It feels lazy. It feels boring. It feels lifeless. Unlike when you compare it to past Call of Duties that seem to be injected with fun here and there, with life, with just pride. But why do they need to do that? They don't. Because they're continuously getting the results. They're getting exactly what they want. So they can come on here and say as much as they want. Try to promise the world to this community. Say that everything's going to be better. Everything's going to be hunky-dory. This time is going to be different. But their actions never change. The words can say anything they want. But it's the actions we have to pay attention to. The problem is, the only ones that pay attention to the actions are the ones that are willing to criticize Activision. Everybody else just toes the line, buys their skins, buys their battle pass, and goes on with their merry day. They may get frustrated when they run into a cheater or when the connection's just not as good as it should be, but they don't take issue with it. They don't think that's a reason to stop giving them money. And honestly, it's really not Activision's fault that that's the case. It's not Activision's fault that the expectations of this community is so bottom of the barrel. It's not Activision's fault that so many in this community get duped by the marketing. It's not Activision's fault that so many people take their words at face value and believe them. So I don't necessarily blame Activision as much as I blame this community. But it's a community that Activision actively wants. A community that doesn't hold them accountable. A community that doesn't criticize them. A community of casual players that just want to have fun. And that's all they care about. They don't want the players like you and I that come onto YouTube and criticize them. Go onto Twitter, go onto Reddit. They don't want those players. They've made that very, very clear. Because they continuously break their promises. And why would you go back to a company that continuously lies to you? Continuously wants to rug pull out from under you. They don't deserve your money. They don't deserve your time. So why would you give it to them? And that's really the question here. Why do we give them our time? Why do we care so much about this franchise when it's clear they don't care about it? They don't care about the standards that were set 10 plus years ago. But here we are on a video talking about Call of Duty. Here we are in forums on Reddit talking about this franchise, wanting improvements, and we're not getting any of them. And that's the frustrating part. We want the franchise that we fell in love with to come back and show some pride, show some dignity for the legacy that they created 15 plus years ago. Anyways, I want to finish this off with a little bit of a conspiracy theory, and please stick with me on this. I'm starting to believe that Warzone is becoming an afterthought for Activision. They're seeing the success and the influx of players from the Game Pass, and they realize that maybe their focus should be on multiplayer. Maybe their focus should be on that aspect of the game instead of on Warzone. And I kind of understand it. They can extract more money from the multiplayer. And this is what I've been asking for. Maybe Warzone should be put on the back burner. But it's very clear from the actions of Activision this year that they are giving a lot more attention to Black Ops 6's multiplayer, to zombies, than they are to the content in Warzone. We don't have a good map in Warzone right now. Urzikstan is mid. Area 99 is just straight F tier. And we've been promised this Avalon map that none of us know when it's going to come out. And heck, if you think that the nostalgia of Verdansk is all of a sudden going to save this game, it's not. So while yes, I believe that multiplayer deserves attention, so does Warzone. And this is why I'm going to reiterate what I said a couple weeks ago. Warzone just needs to be separated from Call of Duty altogether, like from the mainline Call of Duty game. These can be separate releases, they can be separate games, they do not need to integrate into each other. Because it just holds one or the other back. We saw MW2 get held back because they were focused on Warzone 2.0. And now we're seeing Warzone being held back in favor of content for Black Ops 6. And you could even argue we saw it held back last year for content for MW3. So those are my thoughts. I know that might be a little bit too crazy because it is a free-to-play mode. It's a way to bring a lot of players in. But man, having the game accessible on Game Pass is a big deal. And I think it is helping out Activision a lot, more than we know. So that's it for the video today. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, can you please hit that like button? If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.